So the first things first is my lesson plans. Now the lesson plans, if you print them out, obviously they come out sort of one by one. So what I did is I just transferred them all into a PDF all together, so that when I printed them out, I would have a 2-page spread, so I could kind of set that out on the table, so then I can check my resources and I can check everything else. At the back of the book, I have put, so this is the spring book, I have put in all the sort of extra songs. So some of them I just used a backing track for, but if I'm, if I'm thinking, oh, what's going on, then I can use those. So that is the first thing I did. I find it much easier. I find it difficult to look at stuff on a screen all the time, so that's really useful for me. The second thing I've done, and I've just made these little front covers, I mean they're super simple, on Canva, just so they all look different so that I don't grab the wrong book. And I think, I haven't on these ones, but on most of them I've sort of put what they are on the spine. So here we've got our pre-notes warm-up songs, and again I've taken all of the music and I put it into one PDF, just so that when I print it off, I can just print the whole thing off, bind it, put a cover on it. I print the first page off in card, just to make it card stock, I think they call it in America, just to make that a bit more resilient, and I put a plastic cover on the front. Again, I try not to use plastic where I can, but if it means that I can get, 10 years out of this without it getting tatty and ruined, then that is better. Then, if you see here, I've got, so these are the sort of things that I'm not using at the moment. So at the moment, I'm not using autumn, I'm not using my winter resources, I'm not using my spring resources. Well, I say I'm not using spring, I'm in the last 3 weeks of spring, so we just started the first week of the last third of our pre-notes programme. And hello. So and because we're in the last 3 weeks, I've put the other things back in here. So I'll show you, hello, that's summer, so that's not useful. I will show you what I've got now. So firstly, I have all of the sort of little tags that I use for the box that I use with all my materials in, like this. And for me, pre-notes is all coded yellow. Of course, I picked up the one that isn't yellow, but I've put these tiny little yellow stickers on everything, so that if I see something I think, oh, what is that, where does that belong, I know immediately, aha, yellow, that is pre-notes. So it's the same on my files. And then if I look at, so this is Keynote Storytellers, I can just look on the back and I've got a red sticker. So, oh wait, that's red is Keynotes Play. So then I know that goes with Keynotes Play. It's all colour coded, because when, of course, when we've got all these little bits, it's really easy to lose track, isn't it, of what belongs where. So when I get a pile of stuff like that at the end of the day that I've managed to sort of slightly mismanage, then it's much easier to put it away. And whilst it seems like a bit of a pain to do it to start off with, I figure over the years that I'm planning to teach this programme, it will be way easier for me and also way easier for other teachers in my studio to teach. So now I'll show you what I do with my box, and here we go. So I have a box for each programme. And this is a sort of system that I've been tweaking in the last couple of years that I've been offering keynotes. So for instance, this is my pre-notes box, and I was teaching a lesson this morning. I have things that are sort of generic, I've colour coded differently, but then it means that instead of sort of opening and shutting all of these sort of wallets, it means that I can just say, I can even get the kids to help me, because I say, oh, can you everyone get the alphabet notes, and could you pop them back in there? I like to use some Kadai rhythms and things, and I go over that with them. Again, we all like to deliver programs in our own little way, so I have those in every box. I have some rhythm sequences, and then my keyboard 1, 2, 3s, and then some stickers, because we all need some stickers, don't we? Sometimes a bit of healthy bribery. And then, for instance, this one I was doing today, we were doing sort of rain and sun prompts, and what is this? Make a rainbow sheets. So those are the sort of spare worksheets. So when I am going into a school or a sort of nursery to deliver a program, I go to my wall of things. So this is just a little one of these little pegboards, and then I have sort of a bag of scarves, bag of gaiter grabbers, you know, pom-poms, parachutes, whatever. If I'm doing a class that is in the studio, I have this little trolley, which I got from IKEA. And this I just wheel out, you know, I've got pencils, pom-poms, sort of instruments, puppets, all of that sort of thing, glockenspiels, which I use a lot. So they're all just ready to go. I hope that's helpful, because I know as someone who is a little neurospicy, shall we say, I find it really overwhelming when lots of things are online and I just feel sort of flicking between windows. Even when I'm lesson planning, I find that really confusing. So I hope that helps someone else. I'd really recommend printing things out, you know, clear a few days in your diary if you can. That's what I've done, to sort everything out, and it just feels so much calmer, and I feel like I can give better lessons. You know, I'm a studio owner, and I also run a music department in a church, and I've got 2 little kids, so things are really, really busy, and I know that I kind of want to plan once and then be like, right, that's how I deliver that, so that I can know that as long as I've got all my ingredients and all my equipment for that lesson, I have the confidence then that actually I only need 5 minutes to look over it before teaching the lesson, because everything's prepped, everything is in order, I know exactly how to access everything quickly, and really I hope that it would mean that, you know, obviously not a complete dummy, but that an idiot could come and take over instead of me at some point and would find it easy, because if they find it easy, then it's going to make my life easier. Because when you have that many materials and that many ideas and that many games, of course, that's what's great for the children. That's what keeps it really interesting and keeps them engaged. But as a teacher, it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming, especially if you are someone like me who gets very easily distracted and can very easily find themselves totally off-piste. So yeah, this is my system. Color code it. Get yourself some of these boxes. I think these are 19 litre boxes. I tried bigger boxes before, but actually I found that because I'm taking them around with me sometimes, I just put these on the back of a bike and go. It's way more convenient. And again, my sort of resources, I can just kind of take them in and out at the few little things that I need to. So these boxes are exactly the right size. And again, it even helps the kids help me tidy up. So, and you know, sometimes they argue about who's going to help me, which is amazing. What a great position to be in. To finish, I just want to say a huge thank you to Melanie for coming up with this programme. It's been quite life-changing for me. Obviously, the lesson planning takes time, and it does take time to laminate all those things and cut them out and process them and come up with these systems. And it's taken me a bit of trial and error to find something that works for me. But I really hope it helps someone else, because we're all in it together. And yeah, at some points I've felt a bit overwhelmed, and I just thought, oh, there's so many things to do and I don't know if I can keep track. But actually having this system now is making things so much easier for me and so much easier for the other teachers that I work with, who are sort of working at my music school. I know it's much easier for them to find their resources and to follow the lesson plans, because we're not always flicking between pages on a screen. It's all in front of us, it's all printed out, and it's all ready to go. So the only thing I'm asking now is, Melanie, if you could, you know, have a subscription where we just got it all posted to us every month. That might be about £1 million. But yeah. Oh, the last thing I was going to say that I didn't mention before is I have, oh, you can't look at this. This is my to file section of the office. But I have one of these boxes, a smaller one. And in this, it's just labelled to laminate, to bind. And the point of that box is, so sometimes I've got a teaching assistant who, some of my classes are a bit smaller if I've just started them up, or some of them are just super well behaved and I don't need any help really. It's really easy to run the class. So if he ever finds himself with like 15 minutes where he hasn't got much to do, he just grabs a pair of scissors, sits in the corner and starts cutting things out, which is amazing. So although yesterday I got to the point, he said, "Oh, Rhiannon, this is a really good class. I'm just going to go and do some cutting out." And I was like, "Oh, I haven't actually got anything for you today." So anyway, waste of his time and my time, but there we go. So think ahead. If you've got a laminate to bind box, then you can always cajole a friend, a child, a random teenager, into doing some laminating binding. And that's another thing, is I have sometimes asked friends, children who've got teenagers, and I've said, "Look, can I give you some money this weekend to do some laminating for me and some cutting out, because I've got a load of lessons to plan and I just can't cope." And sometimes, the 20 quid that you'll spend on that to get some 14-year-old to do that for you for a couple of hours, they're really happy because they've got some pocket money for the weekend, and you're really happy because you didn't have to do it. Because sometimes I feel like I'm going to get RSI from all the cutting out that I do for all of my lessons. So yeah, with 150 students, it's there's a lot of laminating, do you know what I mean? A lot of laminating, a lot of cutting out. But I know that in about a year's time, I'm probably never going to have to laminate anything else again in my life, she says, not really believing it, because I'm a music teacher. Laminating is life. There we go. If you want to know what laminator I've got, this is my laminator. It's a Fellows Ion A3. Highly recommend. It's very, very good. Yes. Thank you.